We are recording already, although I'll probably restart us here. And I'm going to socialize us. And that's done. And I'm going to restart the recording. Okay, we are recording. Can you guys hear that?
Yes.
Hear what?
Rattling.
I was going to say, it sounded like something was falling down the stairs or something.
I don't hear anything.
It's very, very faint. I don't think I can
Okay,
hear it.
I'm gonna go fix this. Somebody, I swear to God, somebody fucking jumps up and down, and it causes this light fixture next to my office to vibrate when they do it.
So you should tell people to quit jumping up and down.
I'm about ready to. I'm about to go down there and say, hey, stop fucking jumping up and down. Jump from side to side.
Could you stop playing basketball indoors, please? Please, blocks. Please.
Okay, so Cam, I think my favorite thing about the All-Star vote is that Zaza Pachulia barely missed it. Like barely missed it, and he was 42,000 votes higher than Draymond Green, and I love that.
You know what? First off, you just named two people in the NBA that I absolutely can't stand, so that's good. I don't like Zaza Pachulia. I hated him when he was with the Bucks. I hate him with the Mavs. He's dirty. He's just dirty. I
don't really know that much about Zaza, but the fact that he beat Draymond Green, the fact that
I
that
love
guy
that.
beat
I
down
love
Draymond
that.
Green is great.
I'm with you. So I take it you don't like Draymond Green either.
I hate Draymond Green.
I also hate Draymond. It's funny because last night we were watching Bulls Warriors, which I don't want to talk about too much, lest I.
That's okay. We won't talk about the Cavs Warriors either.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, great. Yeah, we're both in the same boat. We won't talk about those games. But I was looking at Draymond Green, and I looked at my son, and I was like, I just can't stand him. I wish somebody would mash his mouth all over his face. And like 45 seconds later, he got that hand in the forehead by Taj. And he was like, ran off back to the locker room like a little bitch. But I was like, man, it's almost like Taj heard me and he was going for the mouth and Draymond just moved.
Oh, boy.
I don't like Draymond Green at all. At all.
Sports.
Oh, but the good news is I'm going to be on a Bulls podcast on Saturday. How's that? That's pretty cool, right? I'm pretty stoked about it.
What? How's that work?
So these guys who do a Bulls podcast, they pinged me on Twitter and they were like, "Hey, we're fans of AP," which I was like, "Hey, that's cool." They were like, "We like the AP podcast, and do you want to be on the Bulls?"
They like the AP podcast. They're just lying to you now.
Yeah, I know. They also said I was good at this, and I was like, "Okay, whatever." Yeah, right. They were like, We've got a Bulls podcast. We'd love to have you on. I was like, are you kidding? I would love to be on. I get to talk about the Bulls. Let's do this. So.
Right. I'm trying to connect to the chat, but we are otherwise.
No, yeah, it took mine a really long time to connect to the to the IRC.
Go.
So. Yeah, I'm stoked. I don't know when. It's just a recording, so it's not live and there's no video. But I don't know whenever it's out, I'll tweet it or something.
There we go. That took a minute.
I talked about basketball here.
Okay, we are ready.
Are we?
I guess I will do the pre-roll here.
Okay.
This week's Android Police podcast is brought to you by Linode. Do you need cloud server, web hosting? Head over to linode.com/AndroidPolice and you'll get a $20 service credit. That's good for up to 2 months of Linode service.
Welcome to the Android Police Podcast, your weekly audio source for all things Android. It is Thursday, January 21st, 2016. I'm your host, Matthew Smith.
I'm David Ruddock.
I'm Cameron Summerson.
I'm Ryan Whitlam.
All right, so we got a few things to talk about today. Hopefully we can make them worth your while. So we'll start off with Google is rolling out the ability to install apps on your phone directly from search results, which I just tested it on my phone. It doesn't work yet. So there's some screenshots in there, so I'm guessing it works for somebody.
It does. It worked for somebody.
Somebody somewhere.
Somebody somewhere.
Yeah, more somebodies than usual with this sort of thing. Apparently, it started showing up in the beta version of the Google app like a month ago, but I'm in the beta for that, and I don't have it yet, so
Well,
I mean, some people have it, but I guess there's no way to
yeah, but are
there's
you
no way
in
to
the
know.
super secret beta?
I mean, I guess not, since I don't even know anything about that.
You have to know the handshake.
Yeah. So yeah, but the gist of it is that if you do a search in the Google app for an app, it'll show up at the top of the install button like it does for everybody. But if you tap that and have this new feature rolled out to your account, then it sort of pulls up the Play Store in a little floating window, which is neat, and you can look at screenshots and whatnot and install it right from there. It's not really like faster, I guess, but it just sort of is like a neat feature. You don't actually leave the search app to do the installation.
I feel like it's good for the normal peoples, who might Google Yelp or something and then realize, oh, there's an app for Yelp. Maybe I should do that app.
I'm gonna be honest. Like, I actually wish that apps didn't show in my search results at all. Just because, like, if I'm looking for an app, I don't go there. Like, I go to the Play Store.
See,
I don't know.
I definitely do search for apps on Google though, because the search in the Play Store is god awful.
It really is. It is terrible.
Like, you can search for the actual literal perfect spelling of an app, and the Play Store will be like, hey, do you mean this bullshit over here that has nothing to do with what you just searched?
Yeah, because it's all optimized based on popularity. So, like, if a game comes out on a given day and you search the Play Store for it with the exact title, you put quotes around it, it'd be like Star Trek Timelines. Yeah. Did you mean Star Wars?
I know. Like, trying to search for Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, it's like the 45th thing. I mean, it took I was like, wait, is this not public yet? What's going on here? I finally found it, and I was like, this is unbelievable.
It's weird that you're saying that, because usually what I find is if I type in the name exactly right, if I click on the first autofill option, it just takes me straight to the app.
Yeah, but that's if it's an old app.
When it's a brand new app is when the problems. Yeah. When it was an issue, it's.
Matt, do you look up apps for a living? Gosh, all right.
Maybe not.
Yeah, I mean
we do.
Yeah, I don't know the whole. Okay, so I don't know if anybody has ever clicked on a link to a story on a Yahoo page. And how whenever you click on that link, the very first thing it does is pop up this full screen purple thing saying install our app. And every time I'm like, no, and I click the X.
But Google's going to start deprioritizing sites that do that.
Yeah, but I get that. But to me, the apps in the search result are just like one step below that. I guess just because I never use them, but it's like one step below that. Like, no, if I wanted the app, I would look for the app. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a crotchety old man. It's possible.
It's probable.
Yeah.
It's probable.
Yeah. It's a cool feature. IMO.
Yeah. Literally seconds will be saved. It'll be great. Yeah. So next, moving on to a Linux kernel exploit that was reported earlier this week as infecting as much as I think they said 66% of phones, and so yeah, so there's some investigation going on with Google, and it's not nearly as bad as the FUD dealers would have you believe. So yeah, so not 66%, right, Ryan?
Yeah, probably very, very few, an insignificant number of phones. So the group that disclosed this said 66%, probably just based on what proportion of Android phones run version 3.8 or newer of the Linux kernel, which is when this flaw was introduced. There's this configuration flag called config keys, but the recommended configuration of Android has that turned off. So right from the get-go, there should be very few phones that are vulnerable, and then there shouldn't be any way to exploit it on phones that are running 5.0 or newer, because the SE Linux feature should prevent third-party apps from interfacing with the kernel. So the only phones that could conceivably be affected would have to be running KitKat or earlier, would have to then for some reason have a pretty new version of the Linux kernel, and have config keys enabled. So the number of phones, Google is still looking into seeing if there are any phones that fit those parameters, but if there are, it's going to be very, very few. There might be like some custom ROMs or something that do, like if they have misconfigured kernels, I don't know. But there's a patch for it. It's going to be in the March security updates. So I mean, they're gonna patch it just to make sure. But I don't think that anybody needs to freak out about this. And 66% of phones are not going to explode.
Yeah, it's almost like security researchers have a reason to make things sound worse than they actually are.
I mean, what would they have to gain, though, David? What would they have to gain?
I don't know. I don't possibly know. This is, I can't fault in any way security research at large for these kinds of issues. I shouldn't have said that. That's not the way I should have phrased that. That was a bad phrasing. Don't take figures about how many devices a flaw affects until few parties have had a look at it. And in this case, it's shown that, yeah, it probably affects basically none.
Yeah.
None that you care about, which is the more important part.
Yeah, so there should be separate people who report the flaw and vet the flaw. Like that should be like just two separate things entirely. Just the security companies should just find it and report it, and then let somebody else vet the risk and all the other. I don't know. Just there's a conflict of interest there, and I don't know. Just
yeah. So speaking of stupid and security, a wonderful representative in the California state legislature has introduced a bill that they want to make encryption on phones defeatable by the manufacturer of the device, which they want to legally mandate that if you buy a phone that runs Android or iOS, that Google or Apple has to be able to defeat the encryption on the phone.
It's almost like they don't understand how encryption works.
It's almost like they don't. Almost. Mm-hmm. It's incredibly dumb. I'm like, this is. I don't think I've ever written a letter to a congressperson in my life, but I'm like really tempted to. California's legislature is among the 50 states' legislatures probably one of the top 10 shit shows of legislatures in the country. I mean, they do pass some ridiculous, dumb things. In this,
isn't New York pushing a similar bill? Or
they are, which I mean.
That's,
yeah, but New York's version. So get this: New York's version is all about terrorism. Like there's an anti-terrorism feature.
Oh sure.
California's version is about anti-human trafficking.
Right.
What?
Well, I mean, it's much easier to traffic a human if their phone is encrypted. I mean, we all know that.
That's what I've heard.
Obviously.
I believe I heard that on the internet. Yeah. Just now. For the first time in my life.
Well, if you heard it on the internet, then it's definitely true.
We are on the internet, and I did just say it, so...
I just felt that was a stupid piece of news worth sharing.
It is. It's actually incredibly stupid, and definitely worth sharing. I suppose that we should probably encourage our New York and California listeners to just go ahead and write their representatives, because both of those just really don't.
Yeah.
And they just general
roboting.
You're roboting.
Hasn't anybody sent Matt Smith a new computer yet?
That's a no.
That's it. No.
Bueno.
Bueno?
Bueno, no roboto.
I'm sorry, I don't speak Italian. What does that mean?
Cameron, it's Italian.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All right, so I don't know if anything that I just said came through, but if you are in California or New York, you should just go ahead and contact your representative, because that's bullshit.
It is.
Indeed.
All right, so Mobile World Congress, new announcements are coming up. So there's an announcement that Sony's going to make an announcement, and probably they're going to announce a new Z phone because
really,
the world
really
needs a new
hope.
Z phone.
I hope they do, because that's just the most Sony thing ever. And
Of course
I
they're going to.
like my universe to make sense sometimes. It's gonna be the Z6, and everybody who can't even buy a Z5 yet in the US is gonna be like, what the hell? It's fantastic what Sony's doing.
I mean, you didn't hear it here, but it might have a Snapdragon 820 processor too, which is going to make you be like WTF Sony even more.
I don't even know why they're releasing the Z5 in the US. It's
Yeah, it doesn't make any
Sony,
sense. I'm going to guess they have like a pallet of Z5 somewhere, and they're like, guys, we got something.
But first, rip out the fingerprint sensors before we sell these to the Americans.
Like, that makes no sense at all. Sony's like, we got to cut costs. Should we
I know. No, and you know what? When
features, yeah, sure, go for it.
The best thing is, like, when I asked their PR people, like, it's a business decision. Oh, really? Could you be more vague about why you've removed one of the
the reason is because they're going to announce the Z6, and it's going to have the fingerprint scanner. So they just want to be like, well, you could. They're just going to undersell themselves. Like, why would everything about the Z6 is going to be the same as Z5, but this one comes with this fingerprint scanner.
Well, I mean, it'll have a Snapdragon 820, so it won't overheat when you take 4K video.
Yeah, well, there's that too. I want to say that T-Mobile, I think it was T-Mobile, released like a variant of the Z2, like Z3. Right after
they had a Z3. Well, yeah, but they did have a Z3 until not that long ago.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much like the average reaction to Sony's, strategy in the US.
You know what's funny is like
so
the Z3 was sold in the US, and now we're on the Z6, and you would think, oh, has it been a very long time? No, it's been like a year.
Right.
Because Sony just like every time they have an opportunity, like new phone. Oh, you haven't gotten our last one yet? Hold on, new one's coming out. Maybe in a few months.
By the way, so also, you didn't hear it here either, but I don't think they're going to do a Z6C. I don't think that's happening. I think there's a compact version this time. We'll see.
I think they've been doing like every other gen for the compact.
Yeah. I don't think there's going to be a Z6 compact. Like, I'm not promising it, but based on what I've come to understand, I don't think there's going to be one.
So I'm trying to remember. I think it was after the Galaxy S5 came out, there started the rumors about Samsung releasing like a premium version of the S5, and like a lot of people got concerned about the fact that they were going to release a premium version of the phone within like months, and like everybody who bought it was going to be pissed off. Like, that's just the Sony business model. So I don't know why it's bad for Samsung phone.
Oh yeah, I heard that they're also going to do like a Z6 Plus or Premium later this year.
Yeah, probably.
Like it's like I'm pretty sure it's a thing. Pretty sure on that one.
I just don't understand how Sony is even bothering to still make phones when they're doing everything exactly wrong.
Well, and the thing about it is, if every phone they released was like drastically different, then you could just be like, oh, they're just kind of trying to find where they fit. But it's the same phone every time. It looks exactly the same. It's got a spec bump, and it's.
I wish I could say more about this because people get mad at me if I say more, though, so I'm not going to say any more. I've already said too much.
All right, well, if David's not going to say any more, we should move on to Carrier 411. So it appears as though free data for partners is the thing going forward for U.S. carriers, and Verizon's jumping on that bandwagon after they've seen so much positive feedback on Binge On from T-Mobile. That's sarcasm. I haven't heard any positive feedback on that. But anyways, so Verizon's adding a freebie data program that apparently allows companies to buy data for customers or something. Either way, it doesn't sound very net neutral.
This is like this is the kind of, okay, so AT&T did sponsored data, which would allow companies to like pay for an amount of data sponsored by them. Like you would see like, maybe if you go to like Starbucks, it's like 500 megabytes of free data brought to you by Starbucks. And I mean, not that Starbucks would ever do that because I'm sure AT&T wants an egregious amount of money to do this. But Verizon's basically doing that, except they can nail it down to like the specific website that you get free bandwidth from, which is just no. This is like majorly net neutral problematic, and
Yeah, this is Verizon trying to get sued so that they can try to win the case and set a precedent that lets them do crazy things.
Yeah, it's really annoying. So just to quote Michael here who wrote the article, partners can sign up to have some or all of their content delivered by either an app or specific web domain not count against data limits. So basically, Verizon partners can, like if you go to Chick-fil-A, like in the picture in the article, all visits to Chick-fil-A's website are free of charge. I feel, oh my god, I hate it so much. This is really bad.
But they have the little bee icon, the little character to make it
so
seem friendly and happy.
So nice.
And look
he
how
just
cool.
wants to buzz you with some free data.
And then he stings.
I'm going to throw this out there. I work for a software company. We have systems that we sell that include routers, and the routers include whitelist firewall. So basically, you can only get to the pages you're allowed to get to. And one of the things we get calls about a lot is a lot of customers want us to open Google.com on the whitelist so that they can get to Google, fully expecting that once you get to Google, you can get anywhere.
Yeah.
So I think what would be awesome about this is if Google offered the freebie data to Verizon and everybody just like assumed like, oh my gosh, Google's free, so I can do anything I want and it won't count against my data bytes. And I think that'd be perfect. Google wouldn't do that, but it'd be perfect still.
Yeah, this is yeah.
Maybe Yahoo will.
Depressing.
Ask Jeeves.
We need to like Photoshop that B character into like something evil and horrible.
Sure, that could be arranged.
I'm sure it can. I'm surprised Michael didn't do it. He's usually on top of his game with the
terrible logos.
Yeah, he is.
All right, well, Verizon's going to get sued over that one for sure.
I kind of bet they are. I'm feeling good about the chance of the FCC bringing down the ban hammer on that.
So in other ban hammer news, Samsung phones have been banned from sale in. I think this is New York and California again, so they can't encrypt their phones, and they also can't sell apparently ancient models of Samsung phones.
No, this is the ongoing lawsuit.
Yeah, this was the big one from a couple of years ago. They decided that that Samsung should have also had some phones banned when this was all wrapping up a couple years ago. So they sort of went back and like changed the outcome of that case a little bit. So some old phones that you can't even buy anymore can no longer be sold, which is pretty funny. It just sort of reminds you how slow these things go and how long patent cases take to be resolved. So, like the original Galaxy Note, the Note 2, the Galaxy S2, the newest phones on the list are the Galaxy S3 and the Note 3. No, Note 2 are the newest ones.
Damn, I was just getting ready to buy a Note 2.
You can't get the Galaxy Nexus anymore. I mean, yes. I mean, this has exactly zero bearing on Samsung's business.
I was just trying to decide if I wanted a Galaxy Nexus or a Note 2 for my next phone.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, this kind of feels like U.S. judge has the one trick that shitty time travelers hate. Like it doesn't even. I understand why the injunction exists because of law things, but it's kind of like, maybe there should be something in the law about if the injunction has no substantial effect on the party injuncted, maybe the injunction shouldn't exist.
Lawyers need billable hours, and.
Well, here's the thing.
What do you want to do?
This is the first case Samsung. There's another one. I believe it's scheduled to start this spring. And that one's all about software stuff. I think it is at least. But yeah, I think it's scheduled for spring of 2016. So it's just gonna keep going. I mean,
Well,
it's
somewhere
kind of mundane, but
somewhere somebody is printing off all new copies of some form of all the things you're not allowed to bring in that has now checkboxes for all of these devices on it, and they just killed trees. So ultimately, this is about killing trees.
it is
I think.
about killing trees. Apple wants to kill trees.
Apple hates trees. You heard it here first. Confirmed.
It's a really
They
ironic
hate
thing
trees
for a
so
company
much
called
they're going to
Apple
hold a bunch of
hate.
trees prisoner on their new corporate campus in Cupertino. They're going to place the trees on the Apple campus and not allow them to leave.
Yeah, they're gonna build a building around them so that they can't get out.
Encompass the trees, trap them.
Yeah.
What if they're the helicopter seed trees and the helicopters fly and provide offspring off of the campus? I mean, are we going to Monsanto levels with the trees? Just you can't even have a seed blow onto your property.
I
All
don't
right,
have
so
a Jody Ive joke, so I don't know.
all right, so we did have a device announcement this week. Not sure that it's one that we're going to get too excited about. It's a Android-powered Lumix DMC CM10 camera from Panasonic. So if you have not had enough yet of cameras that run Android, you have another option, which.
Second opinion, you've had enough of cameras that run Android.
But
this one doesn't even make sense. Like, it's not even like a nice mirrorless camera. Like, it looks like a little crappy point and shoot with a big phone screen on the back.
But it can run apps, guys.
Apps for
What
your
about the
camera.
apps?
Look, I mean, I would not be I'm not logically opposed to having a camera that could like automatically upload my photos to Dropbox. That sounds like a nice thing. But I don't need to I don't need to run the Play Store on my camera. Like, why?
So
that's the easiest way to get to that functionality, though, because otherwise you have to work with Dropbox directly, and that's a pain in the ass.
But
So
yeah,
I can see the reasoning, kind of, but they're still kind of like none of these cameras are good enough to want them in the first place.
And they all demand like a ridiculous premium for no good reason, just by virtue of the fact that they run Android.
Well, because they need a capable application
license.
processor.
And this one is the equivalent of $850, which no, that's just dumb.
Jesus.
Like, you could buy a very nice mirrorless camera for that.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense at all. And that's why most cameras run Linux.
Your Instagram filters right there on the camera. No, not on your stupid mirrorless camera. Give me Instagram on my $850 camera right now.
Cameron, it's gonna be a thing.
Right now.
Eventually, we're gonna get there. Like I'm confident of that. I just think that this is like the crappy stopgap.
I need my Instagram on my camera.
I feel like I would be okay with Android-powered cameras if they cost a regular dollar amount, and it was just a matter of the camera companies realizing that they suck at making interfaces, so just throwing in the towel and putting Android on everything. But that's obviously not what's going on here. They're just they want to sell like $850.
Yeah, it's way too much. The camera industry is slowly moving towards smartness, but I don't think any of the serious players like Canon or Nikon or Sony, we're going to look at Android because at the end of the day, they have systems that are cheaper to maintain, that users like, that offer most of the functionality that they want. So, I mean, as nice as it would be to have a camera that could know to connect to a Wi-Fi network and automatically upload everything you shoot to Dropbox, even if it would reduce your battery life by like half, that'd be super cool, but probably not develop an entirely new operating system for your camera. Cool. So
yeah,
I'm guessing that's where most of that.
I suspect that some of the really nice high-end cameras probably don't want to put a standard operating system on there just for the sake of proprietary.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, Sony has done a good job of. I mean, I don't know how Canon and Nikon are on this. I've not heard great things about Canon and Nikon software, but Sony, when they developed their last generation of NEX cameras, I think the first one with it might have been the NEX, the second generation NEX 5, with the Alpha software, I think they call it. then they started unifying all the cameras on basically the same software. So if you buy a Sony camera, as long as it's not like a $200 point and shoot, they all have the same software pretty much now, which is nice. Because apparently that's an issue on other camera brands, as I understand it.
All right, we're going to move on to product reviews. We're a little heavy in that department, so we'll get started off with the Honor 5X, a $199 phone, for better or worse.
I have it somewhere. I'm just trying to find it.
In your mountain of phones.
Yeah, my. Oh wait, it's over there. It's too far. So the Honor 5X is. Oh man, I really wanted to be able to just heartily recommend this phone because it's $200 and screw it. At the same time, it feels like a phoned-in $200 phone. Like kind of like it's, we've got these features, so we don't need those features. Those features don't matter. You can deal with it. So if you want on paper probably the best $200 phone you can buy, there it is. I mean, no doubt about it to me. In terms of spec sheet and on that end, really, the Honor 5X, best $200 phone you can buy. The Snapdragon 615 processor is probably the greatest on-paper weakness. Android 5.1 is pretty much standard for anything at this price bracket right now, apart from a couple of Motorola phones that are out there. Nothing else is running 6.0 at $200 yet. That you can buy today. The camera is really good for $200. Sometimes it has issues, but when it works right, it's indistinguishable from a camera of a $300, $400 phone. It's pretty decent. The screen is pretty good. It gets really bright. I mean, you get a lot of gray cast on blacks at off angles because it's an IPS LCD and it's a cheap one. The battery life is really good. I never had an issue with that phone running out of battery before I expected. It's actually quite excellent in that regard. What else about it is decent? I mean, it's got a metal body if you care about that. I mean, I don't really care about that on a $200 phone. Honor wants to advertise that pretty heavily, and I just don't see the big deal. I'd rather have a nicely built plastic phone than a crappily built metal phone, but the Honor 5X isn't crappily built. It's just kind of average. I mean, so if they can do that for $200 with metal, maybe they could do something cool for $200 with plastic too that might give it a little more character because it is a very generic-looking phone. The big feather in its cap for $200 is obviously the fingerprint scanner on the back, which is the Nexus style touch and forget fingerprint scanner, and it works. It's slower than those on the current Nexus devices, way slower than the one on the Mate 8. But it's if you want one at this price, obviously that's your option, and it works. And I trust Huawei on that particular feature. It's got LTE bands that you'd want, unless you're on T-Mobile, in which case it doesn't have band 12, because T-Mobile's kind of a dick about band 12, and there's not much anybody can do about that, unfortunately. And what else is there really to know about it? It's got software navigation buttons, not hardware. Hardware navigation buttons are an oddly common feature of phones in the cheaper price bracket. You've got a lot that are moving the software, but a lot of them still have hardware buttons, so the Huawei Honor 5X doesn't. 5.5-inch screen does make it bigger than most phones at the $200 price point, for sure. So if you want a relatively big phone at the $200 price, this is a good choice, I would say. The one thing that lets it down, and I have not spoken word one about to this point, is the software. It runs EMUI 3.1 on Android 5.1, and I don't like EMUI. And when I say I don't like EMUI, I mean TouchWiz is heavenly compared to EMUI. I love TouchWiz compared to EMUI. I take TouchWiz is filet mignon to EMUI's tough sirloin. It is just not. I don't like it in any way, shape, or form. There's nothing redeeming about EMUI, and I wish Huawei would just drop it for the Western markets and try to just give up on this branding experiment. But they haven't. The launcher you can change, of course, but other aspects remain. The default power management settings cause notification delays, every app you install is automatically set by the OS to not allow. It's not allowed to run in the background when the display is off, just because. So you have to go in, and every time you install an app, say it's okay for it to run in the background if you want it to run in the background. Same is true of notification issues. So anytime you install a new app, the first time it pushes a notification, in the notification bar it asks you, do you want this app to be able to push notifications? It's really annoying. And beyond that, it doesn't tell you this, it does not allow any newly installed app to push a peak notification or a lock screen notification, just because. And you have to go in for every single newly installed app and enable this if you want them to be able to peak or do lock screen notifications, regardless of your security settings. It has nothing to do with lock screen settings. It's not related to that at all. So, and these are just kind of the tip of the iceberg for software issues, and I don't want to stick on it too long. But between that and not shipping with Android 6.0, the software is easily the biggest weakness on the Honor 5X, and I don't like it. For some people, this could be a good phone, especially people who just don't care about the little eccentricities and the edges of the software. But for people who do, which is to say pretty much anybody who reads Android Police, I guess, it's going to be an issue, and you're not going to like it. And even though it has a Snapdragon 615, I think it has an unlockable bootloader, because all Huawei's phones do, I think. I'm not sure how custom ROM support will be for this phone, so buy at your own risk. For somebody who is a new smartphone user, this could be a really good phone, because it provides them what they want. Good battery life, good camera. You get LTE connectivity if you're on AT&T. Obviously, it doesn't work on Sprint or Verizon. And you get a metal phone, which some people care about. And the fingerprint scanner is a cool little novelty for people who haven't had one yet. So for $200, hard to argue with that. For anybody who has enthusiast-level concerns, you're probably going to find a problem with this phone that it's going to break the deal.
But the question is, if you try to change the launcher, does it try to scare you into sticking with the stock launcher?
That is a brand new EMUI 4.0 feature.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like probably people should just buy a Moto G instead of that, because that sounds like a much more pleasant phone, and it runs Marshmallow.
Yeah, but it's a smaller screen, and the battery life isn't as good, and the camera isn't good, and it's like it's easy. When I try to think about how I review these phones, honestly, I think about it. Would my girlfriend care about these factors? And my girlfriend probably wouldn't like the Moto G because the camera's kind of shitty.
Yep.
And
this is true.
It's in the Honor 5X makes a really good sale on the camera.
Here's the thing, though. I feel like the way you described the software, I haven't used this phone, but just from the way you have explained it to me, I feel like it does things that regular people would be pretty annoyed by. Like if they install apps,
if they've never used an Android phone before, or if they've only rarely used one, they probably wouldn't even notice. I mean, does it come with Facebook pre-installed? Yes.
So Facebook can push notifications?
Yes.
Oh, then I guess normal
Facebook and Twitter pre-installed. Yep.
Okay, fine.
Man.
But not Instagram.
I think that's a good benchmark though. Like would my wife like this phone like it is? And I feel like exactly what you said. No, she would hate the Moto G because of its crappy camera. I think that is the single most important feature to her. Does it have a good camera?
I'd say to my girlfriend, the camera is deeply important.
Yeah,
so,
it does. Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. I got her the V10, and oh my God, that front-facing camera gets so much action you don't even understand. Seriously.
Let's keep it appropriate.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. But seriously, that wide-angle selfie lens, dude, that was the selling point right there. Who cares about that extra little display? That doesn't even matter. Look at this wide-angle selfie lens.
Some really awful, awful jokes that probably wouldn't work that I could make right now. But let's Pixel C.
Pixel C.
Pixel C. I have that. I reviewed that. I did some words about that. It is the fastest Android device I have ever used. I mean, fast. It is insane. I guess Shield Android TV is probably a little faster just because it's got fans, so it can run hotter and still be okay. But as far as something you take places with you and carry and has a screen, oh my God, it's so fast, and it doesn't seem to get bogged down ever. So that is huge. It is amazingly fast. That is, you know, there are a lot of things to talk about with the Pixel C, but I think that is, when it comes down to it, just being an Android device, not thinking about should it run Chrome OS, should it run Android. Well, you know, I touched on that quite a bit in the review, but it doesn't run Chrome OS. It is not going to run Chrome OS. It's going to run Android. So looking at it from exactly what it is, an Android device, a kick-ass tablet. I mean, it's basically the best Android tablet I think that has ever existed. And of course, there's going to be some arguments because the Samsung fanboys will be all over that one, talking about how Samsung does everything better, and that's fine. If you like Samsung's janky-ass software, then that's cool with me.
Shots fired.
Yeah, if you want to think that Samsung does it better, that's fine. I will say that there are some features on Samsung tablets that are pretty nice, but they're still half-assed implementations that I would rather wait for the real deal to come out. So anyway, right now the Pixel C I think gets my vote for best Android tablet, but it also comes at a premium. It's expensive for what it is because the tablet alone is like $500. And the build quality is amazing. The display is beautiful. I've already said it's just insanely fast. And the whole keyboard dock thing is actually super cool. The keyboard docking mechanism is just brilliant because it closes up like a laptop, and then you just, like, literally just, well, I mean, I've got my Mac here, so people watching the video, I mean, it just slides off so easily and then just connects, like, quickly, easily, and it doesn't go anywhere. I mean, it really is like laptop-esque to get it, you know.
I will say this.
Stick it to your refrigerator?
I didn't stick it to my refrigerator.
It's a heavy son of a bitch of a tablet.
So if you get the keyboard dock with it, and then you do the docking thing where you flip it over and you hold it, this is not one-hand manageable for very long. It is very fatiguing on the wrist.
Would you like actually use it for an extended period like that though? I feel like you take the keyboard off and just like set it.
No, that's what I do. I take the keyboard off and just toss it to the side because like this, it's not bad at all. I wouldn't say it's heavy when you just use it by itself without the keyboard on the back. But if you throw the keyboard on the back, because in the box with the keyboard, it's the little piece of paper that I showed like a week or two ago, whenever it was. And that's how it shows. It's like, oh, you can do it like this. So you can leave it attached. But, man, it's just so damn heavy like that. And I know I had some issues with my first Pixel C review unit. The second review unit that I got, which is actually in a box over there, this one is mine. The second review unit was awesome. And so my personal unit, too. So I've tried 3 Pixel Cs. One of them had issues. The other 2 have been great. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know who it's for though. It's for the person who, I mean, obviously, I have one because it's basically what I would consider my job to have one. So if I didn't do this, I don't really know who this tablet would be for. I do use the keyboard a lot though. I will say that. Right now I've stopped using the Pixel C because I'm reviewing this Acer Predator gaming tablet, which, oh my God, I can't wait to write that review. That's going to be so much fun. I've had so much fun with that tablet.
Wait. Did you just show that without showing us the rhombuses?
Oh my God, look at this.
Rhombuses.
Yeah, that's so ugly.
Rhombi.
Yeah, so hold on. Let me, well, maybe, let's see. There, I'll turn the, yeah. So, oh God, too much screen. Let me just full size the video. So there we go. So you get to see the reflection of the video in there. But look at those. Look at that. This thing is so. I know. Oh look, there's two of me, and oh my God, there's like three of me in this video.
Wait,
now.
so what processor does this have?
This is an Atom something or another. I can't remember off the top of my head what.
I believe the gamers love the Atoms.
Oh my God, this I know I'm supposed to be talking about the Pixel C, and I will just give you just a brief, quick kind of initial impressions kind of thing on the Acer Predator 8. Okay, first off, this thing is uncomfortable as fuck to hold because of these stupid rhombus speakers. If you hold it like this, which is how I hold tablets in one hand, these corners are sharp as hell, and they just dig into your palms. So then the same thing, if you try to hold it one-handed like this,
hey, can we, given the sharpness of the corners, can we just start calling it a stablet?
Robot.
Oh my God, I like it. I like the stablet. I like calling it the stablet. You can hold it like this, but that is so awkward. If you're holding, because these are supposed to be gaming grip pads here on the back. That's what they call them. I mean, I don't hold any tablet like this no matter what I'm doing on it. Anyway, super uncomfortable. I've gotten used to it now, but man, when I first got it out of the box, I was like, you have to. I don't know if everyone holds tablets the way I do. I imagine that it's pretty much the same across the board, but you literally have to figure out where to put your hands and your fingers when you hold this tablet. Also, the performance is not that great, and the battery life makes me furious. It drains quickly and charges slow as hell. So anyway, like I said, I can't wait to write that review. Looking really forward to it. But you know, at the same time, it's oh my God, wait. It gets really good right here. Okay, so I have not touched any of the home screens. That's all pre-installed. That's all pre-installed. So this is all this stuff there. I mean, there are so many pre-installed games on here that is mind-blowing. I mean, there has to be. I think the system takes up like 10 gigabytes on this thing, so there has to be like probably 6 or 8 gigabytes worth of pre-installed crap on here. So anyway, I know I'm way off topic now because, like I said, I was talking about the Pixel C, but since I haven't used my Pixel C since I got the Acer, I have really, really missed the Pixel C. I will say once you're into something on this Acer, it's not too bad. Anyway, I'll talk about that another day at another time. The keyboard on the Pixel C I really like. I really like typing on it. It is quite pleasant to type on. I have typed several things on it, full reviews, or maybe not full reviews, but full articles, 500, 600, 700 words, stuff like that on here, emails, junk like that. So anyway, I know a lot of people were curious about the Pixel C. There was one question in the chat, where did it go? I saw it, it had my name. Somebody asked about something, and, oh wait, there it is. Did I finally manage to force pairing mode on the keyboards? No, I did not. I didn't. I tried it on the one. It didn't work. I gave up. When I got mine, I got a keyboard with it, and the new one, Google sent me a keyboard with it. So I have no idea if that's a thing that anybody has to worry about in the future. But anyway, if you're on the fence about the Pixel C and you want to know if it's worth it, if you think it's worth it, it is.
It's worth $500. You would rather spend your money on a Pixel C than an iPad Air 2.
Oh, I would.
I mean, I can sort of appreciate the desire to buy a nice Android tablet if you're into Android. I don't think that the keyboard dock makes sense for pretty much anybody, though. An extra $150 for that, like, how much writing are you gonna do on an Android tablet?
So it's interesting because I've reviewed tons of Bluetooth keyboards, and I still never used any of the Android devices with external keyboards the way that I've used the Pixel C. It really does kind of change the whole thing just because it's so well designed. And I mean, it stays in any position that you put it in, and it is definitely lappable. So it's,
yeah, I mean, I have one as well that I've been trying to use, and like, I guess I just kind of feel differently about the keyboard situation. It's not like a bad keyboard to type on, but I can't really find a reason to use it when, I mean, like, if I were thinking, like, I'm going to spend $650 total on the tablet and a keyboard, like, you can get a laptop for
Oh
that.
no, yeah. I mean, at that point, it's like if you want an Android tablet, then okay. But for $650, you can get that new Dell Chromebook 13 that is badass.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that if the keyboard were like, I don't know, like under 100 maybe, or like $50, that would be doable. Like maybe if they didn't have this fancy wireless charging thing, it wouldn't have been so obscenely expensive. But
It's got
I mean,
a lot.
like,
There's a lot of cool factor going on with the Pixel C. That's
I mean, I guess it's a Pixel device, so maybe that's Google's sort of justification that look, the Chromebook Pixel was stupidly expensive too. It's like an enthusiast kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, for regular people, I can't. I don't get it as a productivity device.
No, I definitely agree with that. I don't get it as a productivity device either. But like I said, if you're set on buying one and you are like a hardcore enthusiast who really just wants it, I mean, it's not a disappointing device when it comes to actually using it. I mean, I think the build is great. I think the screen is great. I think the performance is just unreal. So everything about it, in terms of how it performs, is badass. So it's just, if it were $200 cheaper, even $100 cheaper, it would be a lot easier.
I mean, if it were a $400 tablet, I think it'd be very easy to recommend. At $500, I think for certain people, it's fine.
Yeah.
I feel like this is the Surface RT of Android tablets, which is to say,
I mean, it's the Surface RT of Google products, maybe.
Yeah, it's too expensive for average people to care about. It does too little for people who want like an actual occasional laptop replacement to care about. And for the very small audience it actually has strong appeal to, it's not enough to justify it as a product. It's too niche.
I mean, maybe it doesn't need to be said, but I actually kind of feel this is more like the Pixel of Android tablets.
That too.
I mean, like I said, like that's probably Google's justification for the price.
I guess the Surface RT was a neat idea in the moment too, but obviously the Surface RT had issues with ecosystem more than it did with purpose. I mean, you had your Microsoft productivity apps, which you have on the Pixel C as well now, obviously. So I just think that it's such a narrow market, especially with the Android tablets still not quite having the content leg up on iOS in a lot of areas. It's just hard to make that sale, I think, to almost anybody. I'm not saying I still think it's kind of a bad idea in terms of like nobody is going to use this product enough for it to matter in the future.
The whole like the keyboard dock and the productivity angle really illustrates how late in the game they had to switch to Android. Like this would have made so much more sense if it were a Chrome OS device. Although, like, I mean, this by itself, the light strip on the back where you tap it and it lights up and tells you, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but it lights up and tells you how much battery you have. That's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
It's very cool.
I use that all the time.
It's one of those little touches that make the Pixel team kind of cooler than the Nexus team.
And I don't understand why they didn't do Chrome OS on it, because you can argue that the touch targets are too small on Chrome OS and the display was too small, but I've got a Chromebook Flip and I have used it in tablet mode and I touch the screen all the time. I've never had any problem with the touch targets. I feel like it's fine.
I bet that there was probably some sort of dispute between the teams about how they were going to make Chrome OS more sort of touch and tablet friendly, and they just couldn't get everything worked out in time to make this product.
And Cameron, I think the flip side of that is with the flipbook, like you can have a keyboard always, like it's always there.
Right, but
would you feel as comfortable touching it for absolutely everything that you do without having a keyboard option at all?
No, not a chance. I would.
Because you have to figure at $500, that's how people are going to buy this thing a lot.
That's true. And also, I have to take into consideration that I have unusually small girl hands, so maybe touch targets are not a problem for me because my hands are so tiny. I have these tiny hands.
The on-screen keyboard stuff in Chrome OS is weird.
It is. It works, but it is weird.
It reminds me of Android stock keyboard. Like it doesn't feel much different at all to me.
It's a little slower. But yeah, I'm. The other thing too is a Chromebook Flip is $280.
I mean, it's also running.
You know.
It's also got like an all-winner processor or something.
Shh.
It's a rock chip.
It's a rock chip, man.
Fine.
rock
Okay.
chip.
It's the other super cheap processor you see in.
But you know what? I think the rock chip processor is actually an incredible value. Like,
It is. It's decent.
For what I think it's probably the best processor that you'll find in devices at this price point. It's the same one that's in the Chromebit, which I've been reviewing the Chromebit. My review should go up. I wanted to get it up today, but I had other things going on. So hopefully tomorrow my Chromebit review will go up. I'm torn on the Chromebit thing, but it's got the same processor in it, and it's $85. You're not going to find a better processor with, you're not going to find a better processor in an $85 device. You're just not. It's the exact same one that's in the Flip, and I've just consistently been really impressed with that processor.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't used my Chromebook Flip since I got my new Dell, so I don't have much to add to that at this point. Yeah.
Hey, so we started off with the Pixel C review. We talked a little bit about the Chromebook Flip. Those all made your list of stuff you used 2016 edition. Anything else on that list you'd like to throw out there, Kim?
No.
No?
You just read the post, all like 6,000 words of it or whatever.
There are literally 6,000 words, close to 6,000 words in that post. I talked about a lot of stuff.
Talks about guitars and amps and bikes and.
I'm gonna post mine tomorrow probably, and it's going to be not nearly that long.
Yeah,
not nearly.
I just have a lot of cooler stuff.
Oh, I see. You just got
compared to Ryan.
And,
wow.
And I have cooler stuff like.
Yes, them's fighting where I don't have like eight
that cool stuff,
so.
It's I mean I started off with like my phones, which the Nexus 6. I mean, fuck, if you don't know anything about the Nexus 6, you need to. I don't know where you've been.
Yeah, no. I will talk extensively about mechanical keyboards in mine though. So
Be sure to mention the Nexus 6 to the Nexus 6P, the gold one, the next time I lick it.
I just I'm still I don't know, I'm still not convinced that I should make the move to the 6P. I'm just not.
The camera is pretty good.
It is fantastic.
I've heard that the camera is good, but I've also heard that the device is laggy, that it's got issues, and that it is so fragile it has to be in a case all the time. And
that's nonsense. Mine has been mostly out of a case its entire life, and it's still fine. I checked the other day to make sure it hasn't bent, and it has not.
But you don't leave your house.
Right, but it is in my pocket most of the time, and it hasn't bent yet.
Most accidents occur in the home.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. Oh,
I've heard that chance increases exponentially if you're in the home more often.
I did. I was going to say, you asked earlier if I stuck my Pixel C to the fridge. I did not, but I have this metal desk mat. That's black with like it's metal, and if you put the Pixel C on it, it literally takes like a crowbar to get it off of this damn thing.
Does it come with a crowbar?
It doesn't come with a crowbar, but I feel like
That's
it should.
Crap.
Yeah, it really should. So I literally learned early on not to put it on the desk mat. So it's either off to the side here, or laying at the base of my monitor because seriously.
I got my Nexus 9 my Nexus 9 stuck to the Pixel C.
Oh man, God! If you would have left them there overnight, imagine what kind of crazy little tablet babies they would have made.
I was gonna say it's kind of like it's like two angry cats fighting, but the cats are both kind of deformed. It's,
they're both kind of regrettable purchases in their own special way.
Deformed cat fighting. Oh my God.
Yeah, I would say that's the episode title, but it cannot be the episode title.
I feel like no. But I mean, is cat fighting really something that people need to worry about? I mean, I know dog fights are, but deformed cat fights?
I don't think like Michael Vick ever did any cat fighting.
Yeah, I was trying to go for a Michael Vick joke, but I couldn't fit one in there. So
you could just call him Ron Mexico, and then that way you don't have to worry about saying his actual name. All right, we had an email. We got an email from Apollo. Apollo has router questions. So Paul says, I recently ditched my Time Warner router in favor of using my own to save the monthly lease fee without realizing just how crappy my old router was. So I am now in the market to buy a new router. I want to give the OnHub a try as I work in the home automation field, and I'm sure this will be the central to Google's future home plans, but I would like some clarification on which is better. I've seen numerous reviews that say the Asus slightly edges out the TP-Link, but never a side-by-side heads-up battle. I see the specs on the TP-Link has more antennas, but Asus has a gimmicky motion sensor. What are y'all's thoughts on this based on your experience or reviews?
You're roboting, first of all. Do any of you guys have an OnHub, or am I the only one?
I think you're the only one because the rest of us try to stick to good routers.
Yeah, I regret my purchase of an OnHub immensely. Something that I will cover in my What We Use post. I will explain how stupid I feel for buying it. No, like I felt like it was kind of like a reasonable purchase, like for work reasons, because I was like, hey, Google's going to update this router and it's going to do all this home automation stuff. It's going to be great. It's gotten like one update ever, and it added nothing. And it's $200. I mean, the app is neat and it's stable, like if it's a good router, but like that USB port on the back still does nothing. And I mean, I just don't think it's worth $200. I mean, like Apollo was talking about the home automation stuff, and like it doesn't do any of that yet. It's still just a router. So I would say don't buy an OnHub at all. Don't buy either one of them right now until we know for sure what Google's going to do with it. It's just not worth spending $200 on right now. Just buy like a $50 or $60 router on Amazon that'll probably still be better than what you had from Time Warner. And then you can get, an OnHub later if you decide you still want one.
Yeah, I mean, if it's me buying a router right now, I'm definitely going for the under $100 price point, and here's why. Because eventually Wi-Fi AD is going to start with Snapdragon 820 in smartphones and tablets, but Wi-Fi AD will come to laptops, it'll come to other stuff in the next 2-3 years. So if you really need a router right now, it's best just to buy a good 5 gigahertz N router, of which there are so many that provide, up to what N goes up to over 500 megabits a second, right?
I think maybe with like some hacks it does. I think it's only supposed to be like 300 megabit or something.
Okay. Anyway, it's more than you need for almost anything, and you can get one for stupid cheap. And routers are, in my opinion, one of the least reliable, shortest lifespan like electronics you will buy currently. I have always had trouble with longevity.
Yeah, routers seem to die kind of a lot. But you can get an AC router for not that much now, even if you want.
You can. I mean, if you want to spend like $150.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at Amazon right now. Like there are some $70,
okay, so like if you want a
ones.
TP-Link for like $95 too, I guess. Okay, I guess if you can find a good deal on an AC router, go for that. I guess that's what I would go with if I had to buy one today.
Yeah, I mean, if I were gonna buy a router right now that I would use for a couple of years, I would probably get one of the mid-tier Asus ones. I hear good things about those.
Yeah, I have a Nighthawk, and I think it's slowly kind of dying a little bit. Sometimes I have to reset it like once a week.
You can get that $400 Asus router that looks like a tiny Stonehenge.
Yes, I've seen that one. Oh, the RTAC 5300.
Yes. It looks so fantastically ridiculous that I just kind of.
It has AI
You just
protection.
know that off the top of your head.
I'm looking at Amazon right now.
Yeah, we're looking at Amazon. No, it looks so ridiculous.
It's just meant to compete with the throwback Linksys one that Belkin made. Like, that's the only reason it looks like that. Yeah. Oh, Belkin made a giant Linksys router. Oh, well, we're gonna put more antennas on ours. That's how you'll know.
Oh my God, I see what you mean now. The Stonehenge one. Holy shit! What is that?
It's ridiculous. So, long story short, Artem loves his OnHub, and Artem loves future-y things. I think he just loves that he can manage it from his phone. Like, if managing a router from your phone is a big deal for you.
Here's the thing. I believe passionately that nobody at Google is actually working on the OnHub right now because like every time I open the app, I just look at it and I go, oh, it still doesn't let you change device names, which makes a lot of its features kind of useless because I can't prioritize devices when I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
Like, is it like? Oh, I'm
That
opening
is
the app
frustrating
right.
as hell.
I'm opening the app right now. Like some of the things in here, they're just like Android device, some weird ID. It does have the name of computers now, so that's good. It actually reads the device name. It's just I don't know. It could just be a lot better at what it does, and the lack of updates are not good.
Yeah. So I definitely agree that you should just get a relatively inexpensive router for the moment, because I think that once WiGig happens, you're gonna want that more than you wanted AC probably. And AC is kind of like, well, whatever. I mean, if you have a home network where you're doing a lot of big file transfers, AC's, could be a make or break, and having a good AC router might be worth it. But if all you really care about is signal penetration, then 2.4 gigahertz N is literally just as good. It's actually the best standard, right? 2.4 N is the best penetration to speed ratio, because it's lower frequency. AC is only 5 gigahertz, right?
I don't know.
Or is it even higher than 5 gigahertz for AC? I forget.
I think it should be 5 gigahertz. I don't know if it's...
Yeah, there's no 2.4 gigahertz AC, I don't think. So, yeah. Right now is like you're definitely in like the lull period of router technology. Like AC is matured enough that they're relatively cheap, and routers are even cheaper if you want a really good deal. But yeah, an OnHub seems like a waste of money when you can get a good AC router for $100.
Yeah, or like maybe, I don't know, watch for them to go on sale or something.
Yeah, I guess maybe there's that. There's that too. I don't think that anything about the OnHub router specifically, as far as range, is going to be any better than any of the regular good routers out there.
Artem swears that it's more stable for him, and he's got like 50 or 60 devices on it or something.
Yeah.
But that's not...
we have to take into consideration, if it actually works for Artem, that's pretty unusual.
Yeah,
It don't usually work for Artem.
That's why everything else is broken.
Yeah, everything sucks for Artem, so if the OnHub works for him, maybe it's kind of bulletproof.
Maybe. I mean, if you have a ton of devices, maybe the OnHub's worth it. But for me right now, I'm very router apathetic. Like, I'm just kind of whatever I got's okay.
I'm still using, I don't know, what is it, the NT66U?
Yeah, that's what I have too, and it's fine.
That's what I'm using, and I have a shit ton of devices on it. I'm running like a couple of different virtual networks, or whatever you want to call them, and I've got, I guess, 4 or 5 different SSIDs running from it that I connect different stuff to, and I mean, I've had nothing but good luck, and I have nothing but good things to say about it. So
I will say that once I upgraded the firmware on it, and then my 2.4 gigahertz speeds broke. So that I don't like. Yeah, I had major problems when I upgraded the firmware, so I've had to roll back twice to keep things from breaking on that end.
I have never had.
Been decent.
I just want to throw this out there. If you happen to be a T-Mobile customer, don't go and spend a bunch of money on a router. Just get the free one.
Yeah, get the cell spot. Which
is an NT66U, right?
Pretty much. I think I have a cell spot sitting right over next to my OnHub that I was using before I got the OnHub, and every now and then I think I should just plug that thing back in because
it's a TM-AC 1900.
It has a USB 3.0 port, and I can actually use my network attached storage again instead of waiting for Google to maybe someday turn on that USB port.
Yeah, that's obnoxious.
All right, hey, we have a giveaway to talk about real quick. LocalCast is giving away 50 promo codes along with Android Police. If you're not familiar with LocalCast, it's an easy way to stream really just about anything from your device to your television, phone, Roku, Fire TV, you name it, it streams. So you can head on over to androidpolice.com/contest, get yourself entered in to win one of those. And if you'd like to just get your question answered on the phone, or on the show, you can email us at podcast@androidpolice.com. You can also give us a call at 530-HELLO-AP. That is 530-435-5627. You can also find us on Twitter at Android Police and on Google Plus and Facebook.
And just a reminder that this week's Android Police podcast is sponsored by Linode. If you need cloud server hosting, if you want to host a website, if you want to run a web service, you can head to linode.com/AndroidPolice and you'll get a $20 Linode service credit, good for up to 2 months of service at Linode.
Word.
And that's when I stop recording.
Oh, Apollo also sent an antique.
Oh yeah, shoot! I forgot about that.
Missed that.
Do we want? Can we stick this back? This in the middle of the show, David? Can you just cut and paste?
Now we've come too far.
God damn it!
He's already
Somebody actually finally sends us an antique, and we just forget about it.
That's kind of a crock of shit, guys. I'm just gonna.
I am disappointed.
Okay. Hold
you
on.
should be disappointed because that's literally
the podcast, and then we can. Hold on. Give me like a minute here. I have to. All right. Give me 19 seconds according to Audacity.
You know what the funny thing is I had that email open separately because I was just thinking I'm going to come back to this as soon as we're done answering the email question, and then we talked about the email question for so long I completely forgot about it.
It's a pretty.
It's an incredible with a broken screen, right?
It's an Evo.
No, it's an Evo.
He's got a pretty good story for it too. I mean, this is definitely they would definitely put this on the show.
Okay, we're recording again.
Somebody should read his blurb about the antique.
Oh, I'll pull it up. Hold on. All right. All right, so Apollo also sent in an antique submission, our first of the show. It says, this aged beauty was found in my grandmother's attic before her real estate sale. I think she may have brought this with her when her family emigrated in the 20s, but its styling looks pre-war. If you look closely, you can see tool marks from the hand carving and perhaps from being angrily thrown at a wall for poor signal. We tried looking up the original company that crafted it, but apparently they only sell industrial-strength heaters now. Thanks in advance. And can we get these pictures on here somehow? I'd like to get the pictures.
Do a screen share. Just do the screen share thing and
share.
And then share, the screen. It's simple.
Yeah. So what we have there is definitely an HTC Evo, and I can confirm that HTC only makes industrial heaters now, so that fits.
They do make industrial heaters. I also really like that he used Comic Sans. That is a nice touch.
Yes.
Nice touch.
Yeah, has it really been since the 1920s that phone came out? It certainly feels like it. It's very old.
I don't know. I thought it came out in like fucking 15.
Yeah. So long story short, I'll give you $5.
$5. That's generous.
Yeah,
I think that's above the scrap value.
I'll tell you what. You can pay me $25 to take it. That's the best offer I'm gonna give.
That's yeah.
Also, thanks for sending in an anti-Q.
Yes.
Okay, so if you can send in, hey, here's an idea. If you can send in a phone we can't identify that runs Android, that's the important part.
That's the
because we don't know anything about non-Android phones.
Yeah,
well, maybe
I don't even know what those are.
And you have to actually own the phone. You can't just go find a picture.
Yeah, you can't just find a picture. You have to provide like proof or something that it's yours. And if you can send this phone we can't identify an Android phone, we'll, I don't know, do something.
We'll give you
something, probably.
We'll give you something. Maybe it'll just be a shout out. Maybe it'll be a Google Play gift card. Maybe it will be. I don't know. Maybe
Cameron will send you risque Snapchats or something.
Oh my God! I will do that anyway.
That's really sad because I think Matt's never-ending list of questions ended.
Oh my God!
We haven't had one in a while.
Wait. Okay, so Matt, just send us an email and let us know you're okay, because now I'm kind of worried about it. Yeah, I'm kind of worried about it. I feel a little bit of, now that you mention it, I felt a little bit of anxiety. I was like, oh my God, I hope he's okay. So, yeah, we just, we care about you, and, just let us know that you're doing all right.
I don't think he's going to email us.
He's going to be like, dude, that's too fucking weird, these guys. I'm done with this podcast.
Okay, I'm going to stop the broadcast now.